Well, hey everyone, it's Rebecca Ruth. Thanks for tuning in to another episode as I chat with another creative. Today I have Kim Peerman with me. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for chatting with me today.
Of course.
Kim, I like to jump right in and get to the chatting. So tell us where you are and what you do in the industry.
Sure. I'm based out of Richmond, Virginia. I live in the suburbs though, but I am a model. I've been a freelance model for about 15 years now.
Awesome. Awesome. So 15 years. So I'm going to say something about that because I've been in the industry, the fashion industry for 17 years. And I was called a veteran last night. And I've been called an OG now. So have you gotten these nicknames yet?
Yes, the auntie, the veteran, yes. It's weird because I don't feel like I should have that title at all because I still feel like, I don't feel like I'm new at this, but when the questions come to me from different people, I'm like, okay, and then I can understand why they would call me a veteran. But yes, it's still kind of weird.
It's definitely weird for me. Like OG was like, come on, because like my mentor to me is an OG, right, in the industry. Right. And then last night when I was called a veteran, I was like, what was that?
Right. It's like, what are you looking at?
Veteran. But like for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm just really getting started, to be honest with you. So when people call me a veteran and I'm like, really, me? Like, I guess in terms of like experiences and stuff, sure, but like me personally, I feel like I'm literally just getting started. Like I'm really starting to catch my flow in this industry, you know?
Right. Especially like for me, there was a change. So for instance, I started out doing Runway. And so technically with Runway, I have been in the industry for a long time. And now, doing more catalog and print, it feels new. So I guess a little shift in, my routine of modeling is added to. So when someone says you're a veteran, I'm like, yes, kind of. Somewhat. But yeah. Right.
It may also be my sensitivity to just getting older. So when you couple that with being called a veteran, I'm like,
right. I'm like, what do you mean?
Right. What you trying to say?
Right.
So yeah, it may be that too.
I feel you on that. I actually feel about that.
But so let's rewind a little bit. So how did you get started in this industry? What started you down this journey of fashion and modeling?
Sure. So recently I realized that I probably got comfortable with modeling because of my mom, who was a photographer. And I started like thinking about when I was a child, and she would like dress me up and have me posing in the corners. We go to stores, like all of that. So I think there was a natural comfort in being used to that type of movement, type of change, type of look, type of pose. So I think that's initially how the desire just came about. Just I'm doing that on my own. Well, doing that with her, and then fast forward, I met a agent, Paula Cordell with Model Connection in 2016, and I tried out for her and she selected me. So, and that was mainly bridal runway, and it was local. We would do different shows here, most of the bridal convention, the bridal stores, the different shows here. So, so to me, it was like a hobby, that I got paid for. So it was great.
Yeah.
So it just kind of evolved from that.
So you say hobby. So like at first, were you not, I guess, looking to make a career out of this, kind of like something you did for fun here and there?
Exactly. I guess I didn't have the confidence either to think that I could really build anything from it. I'm like, oh, okay, I get selected. I can be in a few shows, put on some beautiful gowns, take some pretty pictures. And I had another, like another career outside of that. So I just accepted that was, that was my lot in life with modeling. It was fine. I was fine with that. I was comfortable with that. So then that kind of died down a little bit, and I realized how much I missed it. And so I got the courage to try out for RVA Fashion Week, in Richmond Fashion Week. So since then I've been rolling. So that's been like 3 years. So that's why I say I feel like I'm still kind of new to it, because it's like a whole new area, genre of modeling that I'm into now. So it's just so different.
Yes, well, that's when I met you. It was 3 years ago through RVA Fashion Week and things like that. So I have to say, like, you have a really great, strong runway walk, and you're welcome. Yeah, like, so I didn't walk in the show. I was originally asked to walk in the show, but I didn't. So we were talking about this on another show that I was on last night, and I was asked which one I prefer, as me personally, if I prefer print and commercial versus runway. And I gave my answer, but I'm curious as to what your answer is to that.
Oh, I think that I'm definitely more comfortable with runway, but I am becoming more comfortable seeing myself in print.
Right.
So some years ago, seeing myself in pictures, I was like, but now I guess like just learning how to pose and understanding what will be shown and what I'm presenting is like a different thought process. So I'm getting pretty comfortable with that one.
No, that's good. And honestly, like I said last night, when I started out back in the day, I started out as a model and I wanted to be a runway model. And at the time I was told I was too short. So there was that. And then since then, people have asked me. So a couple years ago, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I did runway. And let me tell you, I was like petrified. I was like, I'm gonna sweat through these clothes. I was like, I don't know what my hands should be doing. Do I smile? Do I look scary? Do I smize? Like, what do I do? And then it's like, I don't even know how to pose when I get down there, and like all the lights and the cameras. And I was like, inside, I was like, just don't trip. Just don't trip. No,
right.
Nothing else. Don't fall. Don't trip. And I was like, oh no, this life is not for me. And I was like,
I'm like all excited. I'm like,
But I was like, you know what? This is just such a great example of like, it's okay. Find your place. Because I was like, after that experience for me, I was like, I already respected runway models, but I have a whole level of new respect for runway models because I was like, like, this is too much.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh, that's the fun part. The adrenaline, like just walking, just strutting, like, oh, I love it.
So I give you kudos, like really any runway model, even the ones who fall, because guess what? Like, to be able, now that I've done it, to be able to like fall, trip or whatever and keep going, that's big too. So I'm like, everybody gets props, because I was literally like, I cannot get off this runway fast enough.
I've had moments like that when I wasn't necessarily like excited about the outfit, or I was for some reason like in a weird, nervous, anxious like state for some reason. More so maybe in the beginning of my career and with runway, but I mean, I've had some mishaps. So like my favorite mishap is when one of the bridal gowns I was wearing, the latch popped above the zipper. And so as I was strutting down the runway, like the whole dress just came unzipped. Like every step, I could feel the zipper just dropping. Then I could feel the dress starting to drop. And I could feel my face try not to drop. Oh, I actually got like the crowd clapped for me. Like that was like the craziest round of applause. But it was yes.
Yeah, like I will say, people, like, if you keep going, they are kind. They will clap for you and like encourage you and stuff like that. So they are like, it's not like, boo for the most part, like if you like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep walking. Like, I don't know, maybe if we were, some fashion shows, though, I don't know what you had underneath, but some fashion shows, they may have thought that was on purpose.
True. That's true. Because I have seen shows like that. But because it was bridal, yeah.
Right, because it's bridal's probably not, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Some you could have worked it.
Right. Show your undergarments.
But no, like I really do, because I'm just like, I was like, you know what, that's okay. That's okay. Now I know that my place, if you want me to, smile for the camera, sure. I'll direct and style all day.
That was one time, Rebecca. You have to try again.
Ma'am, I did.
Okay. Okay. Long as it wasn't once.
This is the thing.
Okay.
I was asked to do another show that has now been postponed.
Okay.
The one, yeah. So, and I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that one. So I think it's gonna be a yes. It's gonna be a yes.
We're gonna have to talk through this, Kim. We're gonna have to talk through this, because yeah. Plus also, I'm flat-footed, and like they always want to put you in heels, which is understandable, obviously. So heels don't work for me with the flat feet.
It's the right heel. We'll get the right heel.
My feet do not arch.
It's okay. We'll get you a couple massages a few months beforehand.
Massages.
Get the pedicure action. Loosen up the
muscles.
A little arch support in there. Yes, all the tricks.
I'm so dumb. But you want to know that is the cool thing about business, and you do learn all the tricks, right? So like you probably could make it work. So I'm not saying no. I'll put it this way. Like I'm not saying no. I'm not saying never. I'm just saying
maybe.
Yeah. And I'm just saying the way you are, where you're like, boom, let's go. Yeah. It's just not. It's just not there. Yeah. But I love watching you walk. You have a great walk. And then I've been seeing, a lot of you and Aisha, who the fashion show I did a couple years ago, Aisha was in it. So that's how I met her. But yeah, the two of you, and then most recently with Sassy Jones, I've seen you guys a lot with Sassy Jones, which is very exciting. So both of you have amazing walks. So I love watching you guys walk the runway.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Oh man. So okay, 15 years in, you've got the runway, you're good there. So at this point in your career, what do you feel like you want to challenge yourself, or what would be a challenge for you to move into at this point in your career?
So I guess just to put myself out there a little broader, the Sassy Jones brand, because it is global, just kind of made me feel a little more comfortable, and maybe like reaching a few other like global brands and see what happens. And now that Kirby is in, and why not? So I'm planning to, revamp some of my pictures and just kind of start sending things out, see what happens.
Absolutely.
So that's it. I'm just gonna try and see what other brands I could connect with.
Yeah, absolutely. And congrats to Sassy Jones, because I didn't know it was global, but I think that's so big. I say this all the time, and I will keep saying it. Like people, whether it's companies or individuals who don't reach out globally, you're literally cutting off so many arms of your
right.
Literally. So anytime I hear someone say that they want to go global or they reach, like, that's literally music to me. Besides the fact that I love to travel, so I'm like, the more people I know globally, the more excuses I have to travel. But like, it's just so important. And then when you look at even some of the bigger names in fashion and the supermodels, they don't all, first of all, the bigger names in fashion are not headquartered here in the United States. That's number one. Then number two, all the supermodels that we all look up to and everything, none of them only stayed here in the United States. All of them travel, all of them, so it's if you're not reaching across the pond, as I always say, you are literally cutting off all these potential branches, of your career. So that's really cool. Really cool to hear, and exciting. I always get excited when I hear that.
Yeah, I mean, because when you think about it, like with social media, the world is a lot smaller,
Right.
and you can connect with people a lot quicker. And then with thinking back on like just different people in different industries, just because they can go out and work and network in another country for a few years and then come back. So it's like adding to your resume. It's just building, building your brand and just making yourself more marketable. So I'm open to it. I'm open to travel. I love to travel. So yes, like you, I like having friends all over. So even if I don't just stay there, it's just enough to like, hey, show me a couple places, give me a couple references. So yeah, so I'm definitely here for it. Ready.
Yes. Not to mention you just learn a lot. I mean, we don't need to get into this whole race. Well, you know what? We can get into any conversation it turns into, because right. So I'm not gonna censor it, because at the end of the day, a lot of the fashion that we're seeing here in the United States come from other countries.
Right.
Africa is a continent, but a lot of fashion is from Africa. South America, like a lot of what we see here are from those two continents. Sure. So I'm like, yeah, like sometimes you have to go back to the origin of things. Right. And see it fresh, see it direct, so I always say that too. I'm like, for Black people, you need to get to Africa and do some and connect with fashion people in Africa. And even if you don't actually connect with people, just go and open your eyes and do some people watching.
Right. And so I actually have a friend who's an executive producer, and he's produced he's gonna kill me because I can never say her name correctly. K'Amour, she was on oh gosh, he's going to kill me. I messed up her name again. But she was on the Runway competition show.
Project Runway.
Is
it Koto?
Yes. So she just had a show in New York for New York Fashion Week. So, I say that to say that there's so many people from other areas and other countries that are here. So even build a connection with, so as you branch out, it's like you have like an initial connection, and then take it on to there. She's probably not gonna connect with me because I can't say her name right, but hopefully she won't hold it against me too much.
That's hilarious. Yeah, a friend of mine is friends with her. She went to I think she went to Liberty. Maybe, I don't know if she finished, but she started. So that's my connection to her, is Liberty. But yeah, amazing designer. I think she's Nigerian, I want to say. So yeah, like so much talent, so much, but like, I just feel like there's power in going back to where it all started from and where it all actually comes from. Yeah, like there's so much there. And then like, I don't know if you know, but Worthy's in Brazil now, and it's been great getting to know the creatives even down there, because it's a whole other aesthetic. Fashion is a whole other aesthetic down there. But then it's funny because the creatives that I know, they get a lot of their inspiration from Africa. They say. Right. So I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's just crazy to me. So it's like, it becomes, I mean, the fashion's already fun for me, but it becomes even more exciting and more fun, where you can like, it's an education, and then being able to piece things together and really, really dig deep on, and for a lot of the international creatives, there's like a deep, like, there's meaning to their work. It's deep, it's spiritual, it's cultural, it's familial, like, there's like deep meaning to it. And I think sometimes that's what's missing with designers here in the United States. It's just that deep connection to it, that it's more than just putting out a fashion line. it's like deep in your spirit. It's yeah, like it's really cool to talk to them, and it gets me anyways really excited about the industry again.
Yeah, I think that's important though, because when you understand a person's heart, a person's nature, it's easy. A lot of times it's easy to support because you like what it looks like. But when you get that deeper understanding, like it's more of an emotional connection to it, not just the like of what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I get that wholeheartedly. But yeah, I'm all for it. I'd like to start putting together trips with Worthy to go, around the world and have like fashion experiences and stuff all over the world. So, and the more and more I talk to people, the more and more people are like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm like,
I would like to join in with that. So
right, like, let's go.
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Of course, we've got to wait for
COVID to.
oh Lord, COVID. But yes, but that is in the works for sure. So I do know also that you have is it a talk show, radio show?
A podcast.
Podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Podcast. So tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Sure. It's called Fashion is My Art. And it's where I talk to people similar to what we're doing here, talk to different people in the fashion industry and just get a feel for how they got involved in it. And a lot of people I know have like multiple areas in the fashion. So like even if they're a makeup artist, they might make like skincare products. If they're a hairstylist, they might make something for a hair care line. If they're a designer, it's because they've been maybe wanting to do it for a while. So I liked the fact that there was always another side to the person, not just from what we see sometimes, but just the deeper part of it. And I guess it's the psychologist in me that I like to really get to know the people who I work with on a regular basis, and just to get to know just intentions and the energy that different people have. So it's pretty exciting. It's my first time doing something like this. I just recorded my 7th episode, so it's fallen into place. I like the fact that a lot of people are interested in participating. I was kind of nervous at first, but people are like, yes, I want to tell my story. Yes, I want to share. So yes, so it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And Fashion is My Art. It's on YouTube. So.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that, because, well, yeah, just congratulations. It's always exciting, nerve-wracking to venture out and do something new. And, being on, knowing that side of things and like how that works. Yes, 7 episodes in, I'll like, congratulations, because it's not as easy as people think.
No, not at all, but
so yes, congrats on, but it's great that people want to share their story. And the thing is, I think it's so important. I think it's not done enough in this industry. So that's it's something that I love to hear. I feel like when you find people, especially in this industry, who are willing to genuinely share, it's so encouraging, because normally, not normally, but a lot of times this industry can be, like I say all the time, very competitive, very cutthroat. So coming together and sharing and supporting, like, that's not something that happens a lot in this industry. So it's great to hear when people want to come together and share, and you never know how your story is going to touch somebody else. So that's amazing. That's awesome. So when you said it's on YouTube, so is it every week there's a new episode?
So we're working to keep it every week, but again, sometimes scheduling be a problem. So the goal is every week, Wednesday around noon, we will release a new episode. And it could be either like a Zoom meeting or in person. Now that COVID is like, I don't know I'm not sure where COVID is. So some days it seems like it's okay to be in person, and some days it doesn't seem like it's a good idea. So one of the things that I really like about when we do meet in person is to go to the space of that person's, like if they have a studio, if they have a store, I like to be in their space so they can feel comfortable, and then they can share with us like everything about it, like everything that they're doing. And you can kind of see, so if you are looking for like a makeup artist or a hairstylist, you can see exactly where they're located. You can see exactly what you'll expect. I know you can go to a website and you can kind of see like from pictures, but it's like real life in action, type of situation. So
Yeah, it's a different feel when you see people's environment. And you're right, people are very comfortable when they're in their own environment, and it's almost like you see more of their genuine self when they're
right.
in their home, their space, you know.
Right.
So that's great that you get to do that.
And
Very
another part of it is that I enjoy sometimes connecting people who don't necessarily have an avenue to connect with others, or like I might have a group of people that I work with that have never been exposed to this new designer, this, you know, from another location. So you understand that, but it's just, I like bringing people together. I like connecting people with similar interests together, because sometimes I can see things and they might not understand, but like after a conversation or two, they're like, no, that does work for me. Oh, I like her, I like him. So, you know, I'm that part I think I'm most excited about. It's just building the connections.
Yeah, that is actually my favorite part of
Okay.
what I do, is building the connections, for sure, because it's like I love, you know, sometimes it's like random. You're talking to someone and, you know, you mention what you do and they're like, oh, and da 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 da. Like I was just texting with someone in New York that I haven't talked to in a while. And
Mhm.
he's like, yeah, you know, photography. And I was like, wait a minute, you do
Mhm.
photography? Since
Mhm.
when? And, you know, and it's like just the conversation kept going. And it's like now, you know, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. So now I have another photographer in New
Mhm.
York to refer to people and stuff like that. So like the connection part is literally my favorite part. My
And
favorite
then
part.
I'll ask you for connections, like, who do you know here? What about here? Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah. I feel like I should. I know someone who calls herself the connector up in
Mhm.
Maryland. So I was like, I feel like I should add that to my
Mhm.
name or
Yeah,
something
right.
somehow.
Your list of accolades, yes, and
Right.
connect. Yeah.
The connector,
There
the
it
fashion connector. No.
is.
But no, that's the best part. And then it's like when you see, I think like you said, I think that was really cool what you pointed out, that like sometimes you see things, and like I've literally had that where I meet someone and I can already see you would literally be perfect to
Right.
connect with this person or that person. Like, oh, I see it. And like that's cool. And like they're looking at you like I just met you. And I'm like, I know, but trust me.
Right, exactly. It's like, just trust me.
Trust
It's
me.
fine.
Just please trust me on
I
this.
will send you the profile in Instagram. You can check it out. Reach out on
Right.
your own. I'm telling you, there we go.
No, but it's super, it's super cool. Like that's what like gives me like, you know, the adrenaline and everything like that. So very awesome. So we have 15 years. I'm not going to call you veteran, but 15 years of experience.
That's a win.
Model, podcast host, looking to, you know, expand to new global brands and markets and things like that. So with everything that's coming down the pipeline, everything that you're working towards, I think as we close out, my biggest question to you at this point would be what okay, this is a good one. Yeah, I think of questions on the fly to close
Oh,
out.
that's even better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like I go based on how the conversation's been going, right? So my question to you that I'm curious to hear is, what do you think for you has to shift, whether mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, for this
Good one.
next phase in your career?
That's a good one. I think outside of my mindset, in not being afraid to just do it, is to fine tune. Well, I go back and forth with fine tuning my brand, like whatever my brand is. Sometimes I think that I should market myself a certain way, but I don't want to be like stuck in that type. I like to call myself a billboard where I can change, like everything can change. This might be what I look like every day, but I can look like anything outside of this. And I want to make sure that I look that like have that very versatile look. So I think it is ensuring that and making myself available and creating that space for me is to create that look that I can look differently in different avenues and different outfits and whatever that is, but to just become more open to the possibilities and just go for it.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think you know what? It's just funny. Life is funny because without getting into it too much, like that's been something that's been on my heart a lot lately because same thing, like I have thoughts and visions and everything, and fear comes up a lot. Yeah. And like it's something that I think that we don't like to admit sometimes. And you know, a lot of times people, and I don't even know, because I'm not a celebrity by any means or anything like that. But when I talk about like, oh, I'm nervous, people are like, you what? And I'm like, yes, like it happens. Like I'm human. Like, so I think that people don't like to admit that there's a nervousness or there's a fear there. But the fact that you recognize it and that you can openly say it obviously is a huge step. And you have a psychology background, so we don't need to get into all the psychological reasons why that's great that you can speak it.
But it usually helps too. Like once I say it, it's like, okay, all right, yeah, now what? Okay, all right, now I'm gonna fix it.
Right. Next,
you know, so
we spoke it, we acknowledge it, now next, now keep it moving. So yeah, that's great.
Right.
It's great.
And
yeah. Well, so thank you for sharing that. That was like, that was an off the cuff question, girl.
No problem. No problem at all. So keeping me fresh, my mind going. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. But overall, thank you for, you know, for being willing to come and chat and share a little bit more about your story and where you have been and where you are going, where you're heading. I'm excited to continue to watch your career evolve. So I just want to say thank you.
Of course, anytime. And of course, we will have to do this on Fashion is My Art. I have to get you on the other side of the camera or in our space. So I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I think when you, especially when you start to go back to the runway.
Oh, that's a good place to end it. I'm joking.
Right before that show, we were talking about it. She's like, and it's over. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
But no, I think that would be great. I would love to interview you as well. So
I would love it. Let me know when for sure.
Yeah.
All right, lady. Well, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Take care.